Hi, my name's Adam. I'm 20 years old, and 6 months ago I went to Minnesota to get the TPIAT surgery, and this is a little bit of my story. I had my first attack when I was 15 years old. I was a sophomore in high school. It was during finals week. I thought it was a really bad stomach bug, and my parents thought I was just trying to get out of school, so they made me go anyway. And it wasn't until a few days later that I convinced them to bring me to the ER, and that's when my lab work came back and the doctor said I was having something called acute idiopathic pancreatitis. They initially assumed it was alcohol-induced, even though I've never touched a drop of alcohol in my life at that point, so they just swept it under the rug and sent me home. But 6 months later, it happened again, and then again and again, every 6 months, then every 3 months, then every month, then every 2 weeks, until I was just constantly in the hospital. Living with pancreatitis, I was always on edge. I could never really make plans too far in advance. If I did go anywhere, I had to know where the nearest hospital was. My friends had to have a plan set in place. They had to know my mom's number in case anything happens. And I just felt like an inconvenience to everybody around me. They stopped inviting me out to places just because it was too much stress on them, and I completely understood that. I had to get a disability plan for school, which most of the time teachers were fine with accommodating, but there were times where professors just couldn't understand what I was going through and wouldn't give me an extension or let me make up an exam I missed. The main factor in deciding to get the surgery was when I decided that the possibility of living with type 1 diabetes for the rest of my life was better than living in a hospital bed on pain meds for the rest of my life. If there's one thing I could tell people thinking about getting the surgery, it's that the recovery process is hell. It's really rough mentally, physically, but in the end, it's worth it. If I had to go back and do it again, I absolutely would, but just keep in mind that the pain you're going to feel is going to be intense. You're going to miss friends, you're going to miss family, you're going to miss events that happen while you're away, but eventually you will get back to life, so it's going to be okay. I never let my disability get in the way of life. If anything, it motivated me. When I was in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but through my experiences, I discovered that my passion was in nursing. Diabetes is so much easier to manage than I thought it would ever be. So if you're worried about that, compared to what people with pancreatitis go through, it's nothing. It's so easy to manage. A little piece of advice I have is to not wait until it gets worse, because that's something that I did. I was waiting to see if my pancreatitis got better. That was not the case. So if you're on the downward spiral, definitely consider getting the surgery sooner rather than later to increase the chances of living a life without diabetes. As of right now, I'm still recovering. The first 3 months are the worst. Full recovery time is about a year, I was told, so I'm getting there. What I just keep telling myself is that in life, people have gone through much worse than this and have accomplished much more. So if they can do it, there's no reason why I can't do it. I started listening to motivational speeches. Those really, really helped with recovery. Definitely do that. So far, though, it's been hard adjusting back to normal life mentally. My grades aren't where they were before taking a semester off, but they're getting back there, but the progress is very slow, so don't let that discourage you. Physically, I'm going through very little pain, very little discomfort. I had a great yield, and, knock on wood, we're actually looking at a future maybe without diabetes, so it is possible. Don't think that it can't happen to you. I actually found out about the National Pancreas Foundation when my doctor in Boston, Dr. Grover, told me that I was nominated for a Courage Award that year. And through the National Pancreas Foundation, I met other patients that had my condition, like Rose Geftius and Cecilia Petricone. And after talking with them, I realized I shouldn't be afraid to jump into this battle, and it was my only option. So through the National Pancreas Foundation, I discovered this surgery, and if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be where I am now. I'd probably be in a hospital bed somewhere. So just thank them so much for everything that they've done for me, and that's my story. And again, remember, it does get better, and the surgery is absolutely worth it, but it is a long recovery, so keep that in mind and don't let it discourage you.